A trial of Egypt's deposed President Mohamed Morsi has been adjourned for a week now in Cairo, and he arrived in court to face charges of espionage and conspiring with foreign groups to carry out what prosecutors call terror attacks. But his defense team withdrew because Morsi was being held in a glass cage during proceedings. Joining me is Abdullah Al-Arian from Georgetown University. Thank you very much again for being with us on set. Now, as we've said here, the defense team has withdrawn, saying that the glass cage is illegal. Is it illegal?
Well, certainly it's quite an unconventional device to be placed inside a courtroom, a place where you would assume that the defendants are able to be allowed to speak, be allowed to listen to the proceedings. And of course, that was the primary complaint from the defendants, is that they couldn't even hear the proceedings as they were going on. Of course, we did hear the accusation coming from Mohamed Morsi to the judge. Is he afraid for him to allow him to address the Egyptian people? And so this, of course, is part of this back and forth kind of propaganda campaign between the different sides. On the one hand, of course, there's a regime that's attempting to delegitimize this presidency to try to obviously place him under a certain amount of charges and accusations and convictions. And on the other end, of course, Morsi has previously used these trial proceedings as a platform from which to address his supporters and to maintain his defiance, his lack of recognition of this regime. And of course, that's what we've seen here today.
Let's take a look at how the court has treated Mubarak when he was on trial, and take a look at how Morsi is being treated here. There's a marked difference, is there? Why is there?
Well, I think because in many ways, Hosni Mubarak is a creature of this regime and of the institutions that are actually there supposedly to prosecute him, which I think helps explain the failures to end in any kinds of conviction for this former president. And this, of course, calls into doubt the idea that there was a revolution at all when you consider the fact that he was removed, but then he hasn't been actually held accountable for any of the crimes that were committed during 3 decades of authoritarian rule. On the other hand, of course, Morsi, one questions whether he was ever truly in command of these state institutions, the judiciary, the military, of course, the broad security sector that exists within Egypt, all of which, of course, have come together to overthrow his presidency and the idea that there could be a revolution in the first place. And so, of course, we've seen that this is really the counter-revolution that's taking hold at this stage.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Abdullah, thank you very much for joining us here on the show. Abdullah Al-Arian there from Georgetown University in Qatar.